So we're going to go ahead and start out with an introduction, right? You and I have had the chance to speak a little bit more extensively, actually. You came through a couple of weeks ago, and we were able to speak with yourself and your partner around who you are, what you do. But for everyone that doesn't know, what's your name? What is it that you do on the day-to-day? Tell us a bit about yourself.
Great. So my name is Kevaris Edgecome, a rare name that I always get butchered. And I'm from Southwest Miami-Dade County, and I am a credit expert and a funding expert.
Understood. How long have you been providing these services, been playing this game that you're in?
Great question. So, as we previously mentioned, and not to glorify anything, actually embarrassed about it, but in prison, incarcerated. I was sentenced to 15 years in federal prison for a nonviolent drug offense, no prior felonies, never been incarcerated a day in my life, and was subject to a 15-year prison sentence. So during that prison stint, I was illiterate to financial literacy. No knowledge, none whatsoever. You couldn't grab my attention talking about credit or finance, just was obsolete to me. It wasn't there. So, got around a couple guys that were inmates and had successful businesses, and I gravitated towards them. So they became my mentors. And the first mentor taught me credit and told me how important credit was. So I learned how to repair my credit incarcerated. And the day I walked out of prison, I walked out with a 755 credit score.
Wow.
Yeah, and had all type of negative accounts on my credit. So when I walked out of prison with a 755 credit score, coming home from prison, didn't have nothing. So I'm not one of those, stories of, I went to prison and then came home, I had a bunch of money put up in the ground or anything of that nature. Like, no, I went to prison, lost it all, came home broke, and, credit. So I didn't have any clothes, vehicle, nothing. And nothing was offered to me from family members or friends. Like, nothing. So I'm really one of those stories that got it out the mud, got it out the trenches and made it. And I just hope my story be able to resonate to the youth, guys I went to school with, schoolmates or whomever. So if I'm able to come out of that environment, go to an institution where you're supposed to be recidivized, it's no rehabilitation in prison. There's none. You have to rehabilitate yourself, and it starts with your mind. So most guys I went to prison with, I growed up with actually, and I seen them working out. Great. Okay, what are you gonna do when you get out? You gonna be a personal fitness trainer? Like, what are you gonna do when you get out? Okay, cool. You got a 6-pack of abs. Great. Playing dominoes and cards all day. I was the one that's criticized. Because, I'm walking with, the white counterparts or prison code. You're not supposed to interact with chomos or things of that nature. And these are the people that, was faring well in life. And who are me? Who am I to judge them? Just because you're in here for a crime I don't condone, man. But I'm not God. So if God could forgive me for my sins, who am I not to forgive another human being? So I interacted with these people that I was told to stay away from. And I remember this story vividly, and I told one inmate, like, hey, we don't do that. Like, do what? We don't interact with them, but you can't sit at the table with them. I said, man, when I got sentenced, it wasn't nobody to my right or to my left. So, you can't tell me how to do my time, brother. But I appreciate you. And these people that I was taught to stay away from instilled so much knowledge, morals, and principles in me, and it changed my perspective. So who I am today is far from what I was yesterday.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much my story, bro.
I have to tip my hat to you for having that intention. Because as you say that, one of the things that's coming to mind for me, and you touched on it, is how most people would spend their time, right? Especially with that long of a sentence. It would kind of be trying to get comfortable, trying to pass the days. I am curious. So you mentioned going into your sentence, you were lacking in financial literacy. You encountered these individuals. At what point did it click for you? At what point did the moment come together? Because I know for many of us, there's this idea around debt and credit that's negative. And I'm assuming that you went into your sentence with either that kind of idea or no kind of idea. Do you remember what made it click for you that, oh, like this isn't just something not to be afraid of. This is a tool that I need to maximize because it can change my life?
Great question. So again, coming into prison, 25 years old, being subject to a 15-year sentence. And it was like, felt like the end of the world, to be honest with you. It was plenty of days I woke up in the morning like, this got to be a dream, a deja vu. I'm going to be going to court, getting a sentence reduction, something. Like, I didn't kill anybody. Like, I didn't get caught with 1,000 keys on the boat. Like, it was ridiculous. So when I really, came to terms with my reality, like, this is my reality. I didn't cooperate with the government to bring someone else in a situation that I'm in to lessen my sentence. So the characteristic traits that I had that was instilled from me from the streets, it was to the point where like, okay, I got 15 years. I've been selling drugs my entire life since 12. I didn't have a childhood. You could, Google my name, like it's public records. My first drug charge was 13 years old, and I've been in the game ever since. So while kids growing up at that age, able to play football, basketball, I was already hustling, and I was already helping my mom. So me going to prison with 15 years sentence, was like, whoa, this is a lot of time, and I cannot afford to get out and do the same thing and be subject to this again. This for the birds. This ain't for nobody. So it was like, what legal entity can I get involved with that I'm passionate about that's going to yield me the money that I'm accustomed to having? And it was credit, real estate, transportation bit. Like, man, you had a lot of entrepreneurs that was incarcerated, bro. And just because they're incarcerated doesn't say that their legal ventures were a failure. I seen guys buy their daughters, Mercedes-Benz in prison. I envy that. And speaking on the word envy, because it's frowned upon in the black community. Envy is a good thing if I like how you dress. I envy how you dress. It becomes a bad thing if it becomes jealousy. So I envy, like, well, this dude got a lot of time like me, 15, 20 years. How the hell you able to afford to buy his daughter a Mercedes-Benz from prison? Because they got businesses that's still running. And that done it. It's like, oh no. And every drug dealer is an entrepreneur. They don't even know it. You gotta watch out for the cops. You gotta watch out for the jack boys. You like me growing up a kid, like I had to hide from my mom. Like my mom wrote out, oh, there go my Cadillac, there go my mom's Cadillac. Like I'm hiding, So it's so many different components that I had to conceal at a young age to even be able to sell drugs to make some type of money, right? So when I got incarcerated, it's like, what I'm gonna do when I get out that's gonna make me enough money that I don't have the attentions to going back to that former lifestyle. Mm-hmm. And it was just, a variety of things. So credit was the foundation. This is what I was taught. If you don't have nothing, this is how you build something out of thin air. I'm like, wow, over a credit score? Ooh, got out, learned that. Got funded. My first personal funding was almost $40K. And I leveraged that, liquidated those cards, and started this business.
When it comes to those preconceived notions about credit, about funding, you had a lot of time to assess those, identify those, and ultimately overwrite those with new beliefs, new understandings, new learnings. What are some of the biggest incorrect assumptions or preconceived notions that people have about credit, about debt, about finances?
A lot of people, especially in this time and era, because the internet, so information is, right at your fingertips. Your cell phone is a computer. So a lot of people are waking up and understanding credit, right? Just, I do need to rectify my credit. Once they get through that stage, it's funding, personal or business funding. Now here's the gray area. When I present, I do credit and funding. So when I present credit to funding to a client and say, hey, you came in a couple months ago, you were dealing with all these different negative accounts, issues. We was able to rectify it. Now you're a brand new slate. You have a clean credit So now your next move is to build out this profile with authorized users, primaries, and if you can't afford to buy authorized user trade lines from us, you have to use a trustworthy family member that allow you on that credit. That's responsible. Now you don't have to pay for that, but that family member has to be responsible and make sure that card is under 10%. You drop it on there, your score goes up, your profile starts to build out. Now it's like, okay, I can offer you funding. Oh yeah, showing the proof. Oh, I just got my last client $50K. Oh wow, I don't want that. Like, how am I gonna pay this debt back? Right? So, and I laugh because it's like, when you speak of funding, you have to break it down in details, because as soon as you speak of funding or working capital, the average mind is thinking about a traditional loan and wire it to my account and how I'm going to pay this loan back, service this debt. Right?
They're immediately thinking about debt.
They immediately think about debt and not understanding that you're going to have debt. Your choice is, are you going to have good debt or bad debt? But you're going to have debt and you're going to die in debt. And most people pride themselves who are liquid, financially strong and liquid, got a lot of liquid cash. They boast and brag about, I don't owe I don't have a note on my car. My home is paid off. Kudos to them. And, kudos to them. However, we speak in layman terms. You have a cell phone bill, right? With whatever provider you with, Verizon, Sprint, whoever. You cannot prepay your cell phone bills for years to come. So when you die, and that's inevitable, we all gonna die. And in our community, the black community, don't want to speak about death. And not to get off the topic, but it's like 87% of the people in the country don't even have a public will. So let's go back to the financing. So now when you speak about debt, good debt and bad debt, and those who are liquid cash say, hey, I don't owe any debt on my car, my home is paid off, cool. I tell them, I laugh and I tell them in their face, you're going to die in debt. So you cannot prepay your cell phone bill for years to come. So when you die and, it's in your insurance policy or beneficiaries or however, the government is going to get that and pay that cell phone bill for that month that you did not pay. So that's debt, correct? Mm. So we don't understand that, and we get to a level in life where we feel like, I'm so liquid strong, I got so much cash, I carry no debt. And that's just a small glimpse of a story that you're gonna die in debt. Now, you want to die in good debt or bad debt? Now, for those who accumulate a lot of wealth, if that wealth is not protected, then it cannot be perpetuated. Mm. And then you can work for wealth all your life, spend your 70, 80 years of life expectancy to create wealth for your children. And then when you pass off, they can destroy that wealth. So when I came to the conclusion of that, I'm like, oh, wow. So it's not all about getting money. It's all about protecting the money and your assets, right? And not trying to get off topic here. So when you go back to good debt and bad debt, and people that are afraid to take on lines of credit because they don't have the mindset. Their mindset is poor. So the poor mindset is going to stay stagnated in that poor mindset. They're going to be, I don't want no $50,000 line. What am I going to do with these credit cards and this and that and the third, right? Because your mindset is taking a trip, going into designer stores, and you know this. So when I fill a client out and see their psyche, I don't even want to push them through and get funded because I know it's going to be more detrimental to you than beneficial. Now, when you have the mindset to be receptive to what we're kicking, what we're teaching, then it's beneficial for you to get the money in lines of credit. Why? I prefer 0% interest credit cards over traditional loan any day of America. And I'm going to break that down. With a traditional loan, which is what most people look for, you say, fund, I don't need the money in my account. They fixated on dollars in their account. Cool, we can do that. Now you have to fill out this long application, go through this stringent process. They want to know everything but the blood of Jesus about you, right? So once you get that and you take that money and make a play to service your debt, you make a play to service your debt. You invest in yourself, your brand, or you go make a play, flip some real estate, whatever. And you need funds to make another play, you have to go through that same stringent process. Now, let's talk about credit cards. It's one application, brother, and it's for the rest of your life. And it's not, how am I going to pay this? If you don't use it, it's nothing to pay back. So if you got a $10,000 credit card and you have no use for it, you haven't figured out a play, then at least have access to it. So if something was to come about, you got money. You don't have to go to me and looking for a funding company to get funding because you found something to put your money in. Take the money, manage it, and it's for the rest of your life. You never have to fill out another American Express application again. All you got to do is manage that debt, keep your bills paid on time, and every 90 days, you call these creditors and ask for a credit limit increase. So you turn a low limit credit card over the time, a duration of 12 to 18 months. Now you're talking about 10, 20, 30,000 because you're running these plays of getting credit limit increases.
I feel like you touched on what was going to be my next question, which is when you talk about providing funding, right? So first layer is getting your credit in a good situation.
First foundation.
Once you have a good credit standing, then the door is open for you to explore funding. I was going to ask if you are looking at an individual that isn't an entrepreneur, is that the same avenue that you explore with them, seeing about getting them funded? Because I imagine, once they get this, oftentimes they probably don't have a play identified or a business that they would be putting that money into market. So what is the value of getting funded if you're not an individual with a business or with that kind of positioning?
Great question. And this is a testimonial that I hope resonate with the world. So take, for instance, I just got my mom recently funded. My mom doesn't own any business. She's 65 years old. She dealt with a bank since I was a kid, Space Coast Credit Union. Never gave this lady a product, never offered her a loan, nothing, right? And this is where she directed her checks for 27 years. 27 years. So I don't even know what the word was when I, discovered this. I didn't know if it would be angry at the institution or be angry at my mom. So a perfect candidate is my mom, who I just got over $53K in lines of credit, over a 3-day grace period over the weekend. She drove in from Jacksonville, came down here and visited me, and we put the play together. So my mom doesn't have a business. She's not an entrepreneur. Her son is. So I got her funded, and she said the same thing. How am I going to pay these loans or this debt back? So let's speak about the loan. So I got her a $10,000 loan from Navy Federal, right? Another bank she deals with and haven't received any products. So I got her the $10,000 loan. The first thing she said when she got approved, instead of being, not saying she's ungrateful, but instead of seeing that excitement in her, she was concerned about it. I said, well, Mom, let's break it down in layman terms. It's OPM. It didn't cost you a dime. Your credit got you approved.
And define OPM.
Other people's money. So that's the difference. That's what make your credit so significant. It's like building a home. You cannot build a home by starting with the roof. The home has to, you have to lay the foundation, the concrete. So when I got her the $10,000 loan and they said, hey, approve, and the money was in her account, like as soon as she opened up her app. Say, well, how am I gonna pay this back? I said, I'm gonna show you something, man. If you do absolutely nothing with this money, nothing, it's a 5-year loan, $10,000. Your monthly payment is gonna be, I think, $327 a month. I said, it's their money. So if you don't figure out what to do with it, you just paying them back their money. Now, at the end of a 5-year term, if you still don't figure out what to do with $10,000 in 5 years, then you're gonna be paying them some interest for not doing nothing with the money. And that might be, I think, $3,000, $4,000, because she had a low interest rate. There go your scenario. So you're not worried. So when the monthly payment come in, you paying them out of their money. Mm-hmm. Not a dollar come out of your savings, not a dollar come out of your 401, Social Security, or your paycheck, or your reserves. Nothing. It's their money. That's what make it so monumental. And people don't know. You hear it on the internet. You have to actually interact with people that's doing it and actually changing lives. Mm-hmm. So the second scenario say, well, hey, you could park this money in real estate 2 ways. Fix and flip, or buy and hold and have a tenant. So the choice is yours, what you want to do with the money. But the most significant thing is having access to the money deriving from your credit. Nothing else. You didn't have to run a gold, you don't have to join the Olympics and become a gold medalist Olympics to get access to this type of capital. All you got to do is have a perfect credit profile. That's it.
This is kind of a question from me to you, not just for people on the internet, but what support, if any, do you lend to individuals that are trying to answer that question of, okay, cool, I got this 50K funded. What do I do with the money? Right. I might know that real estate is a thing, right? I might understand that businesses can be started, but I don't have experience doing that. So how do you help them?
Great. So let's go back again, revert back to my mom. Not an entrepreneur, not financially literate, don't know what to do with the money. So fortunate for her, she has a son that knows what to do with the money. And I stay in my lane. I'm not a real estate expert, so I'm not going to tell you, hey, give me the money, let me go park it in real estate. But I'm very resourceful. So if I know you, Ravage, you've done a couple of deals, Chris done a couple of deals, I'm going to partner with you guys and say, hey, I want to be on that next deal. What's my buy-in? What's the ROI, return on investment? And there you go. I have a trustworthy guy that have done 1 or 2 flips. I trust in him or her, and I could just partner with him. That's one way. Another way would be for someone that's not financially literate, don't want to start a business, blah, blah, blah. You can take their money, park it into a high yield savings account that's going to yield you, I'm just throwing out numbers, 8, 10, 12%, and just park the money there. So it's so many ways that you can sauce this up for you to be able to service that debt. Now, mind you, the strategies that we go after are 0% interest for an entire year. So if you get a $10,000 credit card and, you swipe that card for $10K to make a play, you have an entire year at 0% interest, not $1 over, right? So for someone like my mom, I'm going to take her funding and I'm going to allocate a certain amount of funds in the stock market. I'm going to allocate, and it's up to her decision. Say, hey, here come your decisions. Here come your options. And then I'm going to allocate for her to either fix and flip. I take full control of it, or buy a property and put a tenant in it. You got $53K. It didn't cost you a dime. So now it's time to get out of that mindset of, I don't have a business. And no, I don't know about it. You don't have to. Just know people that knows it. Know people that have a proven track record of getting a return on your investment. And then you can park your money anywhere. Like I said, you can park it right back in the bank you got it from and ask for a high yield savings account with a higher interest than your typical personal checking account.
Well answered. I want to jump or address like a specific situation.
Oh, sorry. Let me end that too. Sorry, Red. So another thing a client can do is join my mentorship program. That's the goal. So if you don't know what to do, you have no clue, you have no guidance, and you got this money, right? I'm going to say, hey, I have a mentorship program. It's going to teach you how to flip this money, service your debt, and make it a perpetuated process for you so you can continue to do this, to your dying days, right? So my mentorship program, just say I throw out a number, 10, 15,000. I just got you 53,000. It didn't cost you a dime. Now you have to pay me for my expertise, advice, and my experience.
On what to do with it.
On what to do with the money. And now you have no excuse because you have the money to afford my services. I just got it to you from your credit. It didn't cost you a dime. So pay me. Now you're in a comfort zone. Now you're in a zone of learning. Or now you have that mentality to say, hey, at least I know I'm making money with this guy. And then I'm able to service that debt. And if I need to make another play in the future, I could just repeat it.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. It's not hard. Like the way I speak, the way I teach, I try to teach it in the layman terms and not to try to talk with so much verbiage or be so articulate to the point where, if a 12-year-old child was sitting in this room, he or she should understand what we're talking about. Absolutely.
I love that. I'm imagining another person sitting across from you, hearing everything that you're saying. And I can imagine their response being, okay, well, I have a ton of consumer debt already, right? I am maybe at the limit for a lot of my cards. I am just above, being able to pay my minimums, right? Maybe I pay a little bit more on top. Am I even a candidate for this? I might have it in my head that either I'm just screwed or I need to be making more money My credit is already shot, right? So like, there's nothing to be taken off my report. Like, I just need to pay these people.
Great.
How can we work together?
This is easy for me, bro, because you're talking to someone that actually does this, experience this on a daily basis, right? So you got a client that comes in and has no negative accounts, basically just dealing with debt, high utilization. All their cars are maxed out. They probably can't afford to pay their bill next month, right? So what I can do is called debt consolidation. Instead of getting you personally funded or your business funded, I take you through a funding process for debt consolidation where the underwriter understands your terms. The underwriter understands we're dealing with inflation. The underwriter understands that you've come across financial hardship, right? So it's not scrutinized up under the same guidelines as a personal or business loan or things of that nature. So you take that client and you run them through a debt consolidation underwriter team, and they're going to look at this profile and say, well, okay, Miss Sarah does have high utilization, but Miss Sarah doesn't have any late payments. Miss Sarah has really been good on her credit for the last 10, 15 years. This is the only little window that she's been struggling with, and naturally so. Look what this country is dealing with. So a person who's lost hope, stressed out, depressed, they don't even know the avenues that you can get a personal loan, that the money won't come in your account. They will service every last debt. And if you get approved for, say like you're dealing with $30,000 a day and you get approved for 40, they will service all your creditors, pay them immediately, and then anything left over is left over for you. So they'll get your way out of your situation that you think you don't have a way out of, or you feel like you can't get any more access to capital because you already abused your capital.
Is that what are the contingencies to that? Who is that not available for?
So if you're dealing with high utilization and you're looking for funding, it's not for those who have abused their credit, multiple late payments, accounts and collections. You pretty much doomed. You have to get your credit restored. You have to pay someone or do it yourself and get your credit restored and challenge all those negative items. Now the one that's having the high utilization with no negative items, they got an exit plan right away.
I want to move into the space and kind of speaking to some of the other actors in the space, not to call any names out, right? But in some of our previous conversations and even just like my own observation of the market, and I think overall sentiment of this game, a lot of people have this connotation on credit repair financial services, that it's a shady industry, that it's a scam, that it's fraud, all of these things, right? What would you say to that person that you could help? Let's say they're sitting right across from you and they're in a situation like you just described, but they're like, hey man, I don't feel great about this because I don't trust it, right? Like, what are some of the things that you do to help them feel good about what you're doing, or that someone could point at and say, oh, okay, cool, seeing this, I trust you?
Great question, man. So in the credit repair industry, bro, I want to say, if a client has been through credit repair before and they come my way, they've been screwed over. Absolutely.
Most of the time.
I want to throw like 93% of the time out. Oh, I just paid someone $500. I just paid someone $1,000. And my analogy is, hey, you can't give up on something because someone screwed you over. My analogy is, when you was a kid and your parents put you on that bicycle, you fell off that bicycle when the trainer wheels came off. Did you pick that bicycle back up and get back on and learn how to ride a bike? Absolutely. Right? So every kid learned how to ride a bike, learned how to skate. Same thing with credit. Someone screwed you over. You can't say at the end of the life, and you're not willing to pay me, who has a proven track record. I'll pull out a catalog of satisfied customers. Hopefully that wins you over. If not, I give them another analogy. If you don't make a move, your feet is going to stay stuck in a quicksand, and eventually you're going to drown and lose everything. So you get screwed over one time, is the end of the world? Absolutely not.
Shouldn't be. Shouldn't be, yeah.
You lost some funds, we all lose funds, right? On my journey doing this here, like, bro, I done went broke twice. Absolutely zero. Broke. Go get funding, figure out another way, put another company out the shell, go get funding, and I tried again.
Just to contextualize this, because, the game that you were playing before you were incarcerated, obviously notorious for large volumes of quick money. when you went in, if you're comfortable sharing, like, what was that, like, where were you at financially and what did you lose? Because I want people to be able to understand, like, you know, people are thinking that they're looking at this, they're like, dude, I paid someone $500 and I lost it. So I want them to be able to have a reference point to say, oh shoot, like, you lost a whole lot more, but you're still able to win in this game by continuing to take those opportunities up.
So prior to my incarceration, bro, like I said, I started selling drugs at a tender age of 12. I caught my first charges, public record, at 13 years of age, right? So it's in my story I sent you. So by the time I was 17, I ended up buying my first kilo. So here it is, a kid that can't even buy tobacco or alcohol, let alone has, you know, elevated to the game of buying a single kilo, right?
How much did that cost?
Back then, like $25K. So I'm 17 years old. Able to take care of my mom. At the time, I didn't have any kids. So the speed, the process, at the height of my career in the game, bro, at one time, liquid cash, I was worth $230K, right? I think I was 23 years old. You know, got indicted at 25. So when I went in, who's gonna take care of those funds as I did? Nobody. So if you leave it to your girlfriend, she's not responsible. She's gonna blow it. Leave it to your mom. They don't know what anybody you leave it to, they don't know what to do with it. Or you're gonna do, you know, you're gonna seal it up in a vacuum bag and put it in the ground and hope it's there when you get out. Who's to say you live? You know, so the game is a myth. We've been taught wrong, you know. And there's only 3 options out when I was growing up. You know, I'm born in 82. So I grew up and survived the 90s and the early 2000s, which I already had in my mindset that when Tupac died, I'm like, I was cool with dying at 25, bro. Sad but true. Like, I was already planning, like, I'm not going to live past 25 in this game, in this era. So when I went to prison, it was a gift and a curse. So it saved me. And for those who like to glorify it to that magnitude and, oh, I had this, I was doing, you're not going to hear them stories from me. I'm going to give you some basic stories, real authentic, and show you and show the youth that that game is, you know, you might see me like, oh, this dude, oh, he, you know, that's an old head 9 and, you know, he doing legal stuff. Man, you got to listen to your old heads. You know, you got to listen to the big homies. You got to listen to them because they the ones that was 19, 20 years old doing the same dumbass shit you doing. And if you ain't buying multiple kilos and you don't have a overseas Hispanic connect, then you really wasting your time. Or somebody working at McDonald's is, you know, faring well more than you in life. If you're a corner boy, you buying a couple 8 balls or an ounce and you sitting on the corner selling rocks, you ain't winning, fam. I'm gonna look this camera. You working minimum wage, so you're gonna take losses. You're gonna go to jail. You got lawyer fees. You got people who you need to take care of. They know you sell drugs, so they're gonna be the first one to call your phone to ask for a favor. So how much money are you really profiting? And there's no accountant in the game. You your own accountant. You your own tax preparer. Like, so you don't know, like, and then the money you get $20,000, you buy a brick. The profit margin, it depends on how you, if it's a wholesale or you breaking it down and actually selling ounces, you're gonna make, you know, $10,000 profit. Or, you know, if you're selling from me to him, you're gonna be lucky to make 1,000. Right? I know the game. This is where I come from. So now you out here risking your life for $1,000, and then when you've done, you got to reinvest that $20K back into your product to keep making a funky ass $1,000. Pardon my French. So, you know, a guy at McDonald's or Burger King that's putting in those hours, those double hours, that are working 8 hours a day, that's working 10, 12, 16 hours a day, he winning. And then you got the women out here in our community say, oh, they go spend a couple $1,000s on their body, they got no stomach, they look great. And they say, oh, I'm a bad bitch. But you walk around with bad credit. So it's you know, the game is fucked up, bro. And part of my friend, the game is like messed up. My message is to the youth to say you don't have to sell drugs, you don't have to scam, which a lot of kids doing now. They're not selling drugs. They on the computer, they scamming people.
Go crazy.
And the karma. So if you scam someone out of their money, it might be their life saving. This old lady could be your grandma or your mom. You don't know her from a can of paint. You don't care. And then they get the money. They're not investing in it. They blowing it. It's for an Instagram post. They got on design of these kids spending $5,000-$10,000 on the outfit like it's nothing. $20,000-$30,000 on jewelry like it's nothing. So you get popped off. Who winning? The square, the lane winner, the one that working at McDonald's is winning. Cause he gonna be out here and he gonna, now he got access to your broad. Mm-hmm. Now he got access to your woman. And she gonna give him some play. Cause when he get paid, he can get to buy him a little outfit. If he want to go to the club, he can afford to do it.
Yeah.
Your glory is gone.
Yeah.
You writing letters, you begging the same people you took care of, like I did, to send you money so you can have a commissary, your prison stamp be kind of somewhat comfortable. So it's a lose-lose. So my message to the youth is, if you scamming and you successful, you making $10,000, $20,000 a day, I'm gonna show you how to go in the banks and get it legally and keep it, and you never have to lose your woman. You never have to be away from your kids, and you never have to lose your wealth. So the game ain't never dead, bro, but it's dead in the aspect of mentality. Mm-hmm. Let's talk numbers. Men lie, women lie. Numbers don't lie. So when I came home from prison, and I just told you at the height of my career, I could go and look in one safe, and it was $230,000 liquid cash there, and I came home broke. Who won? Mm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I lost my, you can't get back time. You get back a lot of shit, you can't get back time. And that's the first thing I told my children when I came home. I sat them down in front of their moms and like, hey, I'm not coming back out here to play catch up. I can't get back the time that I was away from y'all. But we can start today and make a brighter future. And that's what I'm chasing, a legacy and a dynasty for my children. So, you don't have too many black people walking around that say they got a trust, let alone a trust. So if I walk out this building right now and get hit by a train, my kid's straight. And, that's the game. That's the winner. That's the winner, man. Those who build a wealth, protect the asset, man, so it can be perpetuated. And it's not generational wealth. Generational wealth can be destroyed. Transitional wealth is what I got coming out, my program, my mentorship program. Just give you guys two stories, John D. Rockefeller and the Vanderbilts. So the Vanderbilt had more money than John D. Rockefeller. When the Vanderbilt died, the next generations, that wealth deplenished immediately. They're broke. They didn't even talk about them. No one talk about them. John D. Rockefeller is on his 6th, 7th generation of wealth. Why? He created a waterfall. And we'll speak about that too. Like, I got the full package, bro. Mm-hmm. For one could come in, absolutely no money, rectify their credit, get the money they need, invest the money, and build a shield to protect their assets. So when they kick the bucket, and their last name is Edgecome, their grandchildren, their children, their grandchildren, and thereafter. I want my name to be like McDonald's, Ray Kroc. I want my name to be like Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk. Not just while I'm here and, doing great for myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, my name going to be resonating for generations to come because I already put it in play.
Dude, we'll definitely circle back and go so much deeper. I want to circle up just so we can get as broad a set on our initial set. But going back to some of these, you mentioned the scammers. Shout out them young boys in the A.
Yeah. Florida.
No, we be popping off here too. I won't even cap.
Yeah, for sure.
So one thing about me, people will say oh, such and such is a scam. Oh, crypto is a scam. Whatever it is. I always ask the question, how? What is the scam? Or when folks be on Instagram talking about yo, Bank of America, tap in, I got you, whatever. I'm always hey, what are they doing? How does that happen? I'm curious to know, with your time in the game, what are some of the scams or some of the fraudulent plays that people might be running if they're signing clients for credit repair, right? For these people that are getting burned or that have gotten burned, what might be happening, right? What are some of the things that people out here are doing that, can actually not be in your best interest?
So I'm trying to give you a 2-dimensional answer to that. So those who feel or those who are experienced going through a credit repair service and getting actually scammed out of their money, it's not the client. It's the individual or the company, right? That says they do X, Y, and Z, and they're not experts in their field. They're not board certified. You know, you got to fact check people out here now, right? So you got scammed and you feeling like this dude scammed me or this company scammed me. You're going to lose hope on what you need to do to be successful. You can't, right? So when you get scammed out of somebody who you feel like, how did this person get scammed? This thing, people like me, I'm say, hey, Rabbit, I can fix your credit. And you take me at face value. You didn't ask to see a last client result. You don't care about saying me if I'm board certified or not, right? And I take your money and I don't get the job done. So I scammed you out of that money just by saying I can, right? So in this era we live in, I can show you. I can teach you. Give me a chance. Don't talk about the last time you fell off that bicycle. Pick the bike up, put your Band-Aids on, lick your wounds, and let's get this job done.
Now, there are some situations where at face value, you might get the outcome that you were expecting, but the way that it was achieved wasn't an approach of integrity. There's a situation that you were telling me about, or an approach that some people are taking to do like some credit sweeps. Can like speak to that?
That do you. So when I was here 2-3 weeks ago, a month roughly, and we spoke about that, and I, kind of just told you in depth how, I don't like it. I see how people, come and just flip, because people want a quick fix. You fuck up, you can have an 800 credit score. To get from an 800 down to the low 500s or lower, it's going to take you roughly 6 months to fuck that credit up. So I tell people all the time, this ain't a quick overnight fix. You fucked it up. It's going to take me 6 months to, correct what you fucked up. Now, not to get off topic. So it's very popular right now. It's going crazy over the internet. The TransUnion sweep, I think it's another bureau that came out to sweep. Well, all of them, because it's geared around sex trafficking victims. So if you was kidnapped or, taken out of this country and then you got discovered and you're an adult now, right? But you're out of our system. So the credit bureaus has came up with, hey, if you have been a victim of sex trafficking and you got anything on your credit or you're trying to rectify your credit, send us a letter, state that, and we'll take everything off. And that's what's been going on. So I pray for those, the entrepreneurs and the clients, because this has been misused and it's been abused, and it's a marketing scheme to get people in at a large volume. Now, the con to that, pros and cons to everything, y'all. So the con to that is, once these birds catch on, they're gonna catch on. They got the money to put the investigative teams in place to say, hey, Edgecome used the 7 days credit sweep. This is not a victim of sex trafficking. You're going to be subject to that. Those accounts probably coming back on. You're also going to be subject to penalties and fines. And if you don't have that money, you could possibly face jail time.
And so it's possible that an individual worked with a company that might have executed on this for them without their awareness, and a couple months, couple years down the line,
there you go.
Come back to bite
That's
them.
what I like about, your question is top tier. So most entrepreneurs, online gurus, and a lot of them, I look at them, I study the game. So a lot of these guys who they made their bones in this game, don't get it twisted. And I condone any black entrepreneur that come from adversity, overcame adversity, come from poverty-stricken environments and able to make it. What I don't like is a lot of these guys are getting ahead, women too, and instead of marketing their services and what they've done for people, they're marketing their lifestyle. So now they got the Lamborghinis, they got the mansions, they got the jewelry. These people paying for it. So they got to keep them coming. They got to keep this thing coming. You got to pay this mortgage. It's $5,000 for this mansion. You got this Lamborghini out here, $2,000-$3,000 a month. You gotta, your marketing got to be right there, and you're not going to be transparent in the process. Why would I be transparent and give you the opportunity to say no, and then there go my car note.
Yeah.
So no, these people are not being transparent. They just looking for the, they're priving the people off emotional pain points. Oh, your credit messed up? Come on over here, don't worry about it. I clean it up in 7 days. Not being transparent and say, hey, Ravage, we can do this 7 day sweep, but you know if it backfire, you're looking at X, Y, and Z. I'm not going to tell you that. I'm not going to reveal that.
Yeah.
I got to get you to pay for this mansion. So I'm going to give you the quick fix what you're looking for. What the average person in credit risk. Oh, how long does it take? That's the favorite question. How long does it take? Just start the day. Do it the right way, and you never have to look back or go through this. Like, getting your credit repair is a stringent process. It ain't nothing sexy about it. Not for me who repair credit, and not for a client that has to wait patiently to get things removed off their item. But once it's done, it's rejuvenating. It's like dipping in the, going into the ocean, man, and getting rid of all your sins and coming out that ocean, drying your butt off and putting on some all white linen and going to somebody's church house or something. It's very rejuvenating doing it the right way.
Perfect. Okay. I think I got one more for you. Let's say I have a renewed hope about what my financial situation can be. Been watching your content, came across this stuff. I'm like, okay, maybe I don't need to be broke for the rest of my life, right? You mentioned, obviously mindset is a factor. There's a lot of different factors, a lot of things that need to change over time. What is one practical, quick win that someone can achieve after they put their phone down, get up, shower, get changed, go out into the world, that can help set them up to improve their financial future moving forward?
Always revert back to the foundation. And it sounds cliche. You have to have that credit right. People with bad credit are living a very expensive life. And I'm going to elaborate on that. So, me, I got bad credit. You got good credit. How much is going to cost me to put down on a car with bad credit? $3,000-$5,000, right? We're not even talking about a foreign car or your dream car, right? Now let's go to the person with good credit. Same car. You're going to drive all that car out with zero down. And you're going to have a zero interest rate, a low interest rate, and you're also going to have a way cheaper monthly payment than me with the bad credit. So I'm living an expensive lifestyle and thinking, Rabbits charge too much for credit repair. I can't afford that. But you're going to run right to that car lot and give that car salesman exactly what he asked for, because you have something that's a necessity. You need a vehicle, right? Now let's talk about you living with bad credit. You can't even go get a place to stay, fam. Certain jobs, you're not even allowed to get hired for your bad credit. A job, an occupation. So that's how significant it is. Now, credit is the foundation of becoming wealthy. Off of thin air. Just like my mentee taught me in prison, off of thin air. And I came home broke and got my credit together. And now, I'm creating a platform for myself. People are able to see me, hear me, and I'm not just talking it, I'm living it. So the importance of credit, getting that good credit right, coming back and rewarding yourself for having good credit. All these on-time payments, these relationships with the banks you got, direct deposit, out. Don't just let the bank do business with you and you don't turn around and do business with them. Take the money. Stop being afraid of good debt. Stay petrified of bad debt. I want you to stay petrified of bad debt. But do not be afraid to get the bank's money. And I'm going to speak on, we're going to go on a whole different tax bracket, because that's what made me get to where I'm at now. I study billionaires. It's not a millionaire on my list that I'm going to study and try to duplicate or emulate. It's going to be a billionaire. So when I realized that Elon Musk borrows money every time he drops a Tesla model, when I realized Jeff Bezos borrows money, you name them, the Walmarts, the Waltons, like we talking billionaires. Anytime they see an investment and they're going to make that play, they're not going in their reserves or their capital gains. They're going right in the bank, borrow the money, pay the little interest on the money that they borrow, and it's zero taxes on borrowed money. Absolutely. You pay zero taxes on borrowed money. So how much taxes you going to pay if you was to make a play, flip a house, and you walk away with $200K? You got to factor that in. How much you going to pay? You're going to pay capital gain taxes. Now me, I'm going to walk right in the bank, borrow the money that you put your hard-earned check into. You come into the bank, depositing your check. I'm walking in the bank from the back way as a private investor. As soon as your check get cashed, I'm walking out with your money at 0%, at zero tax.
So if I'm looking to take the step into being able to start playing this game better, right? There are components to this that are going to take time, a couple months, a couple years, right?
No, you can do this in a single year.
Well, let's say like the mindset adjustment, right? Like that might require a longer process of unlearning, right? Sure. But if I wanted to do something today that I could feel good about, that set me up, might not need to be something huge, right? But something that I could know for a fact is putting me in a better position or setting me up to get into a better financial position. What would that be from your perspective? So
again, not trying to sound redundant, reiterate, your foundation is credit. Once you get a good credit, you have to reward yourself by going to show the banks that you can manage money. So whether you do something with it or not.
Let's say I'm in a bad credit situation, right? Before I sign up with you, right, or anybody, like, what could I do before the day ends to start to mitigate or start to set that foundation up?
Oh, I see what you're saying. So, okay, thanks for bringing clarity to that. Just self-educate. My advice would be self-education, right? And not trying to say you need to be a credit expert, but just understand the importance of credit, how to leverage credit. Once you get that ingrained into your mind, you're going to make the next step. Especially if you have intentions of being an entrepreneur. You cannot run a business on donking, on zero. You're not running a 501 charity, nonprofit charity event. So you're going to need money. Now the question is, are you going to go get their money at zero tax? Or are you going to work, save, then take those reserves and try to make a play, and then that play doesn't go right? Now you want to shoot yourself in the head, commit suicide.
Yeah.
So play with their money. So if you go get the bank money and you make an investment and it doesn't go right, you're protected under certain laws on this country. Again, let's bring up Elon Musk. Google it. See how many times he filed for bankruptcy. Why do you think he filed for bankruptcy? So, the game is to borrow money, brother. That's the ultimate goal. To borrow money, make a sound investment to service your debt so you can perpetuate this process over and over and over again for the remainder of your life. It's simple. And they're going to take you 40, 50, 60 grand to even think about running a business and structuring it and getting it out there. You're going to need 40, 50 out the muscle. So you have to train your mind to be able to change. The mentality has to come from the mind. Now, the mind has to be intrigued to what it wants. So if you want better, you're going to eventually drag yourself to do better. How many people work out knowing you don't got a little, I got a little bill bet, I need to work out? Me. I hate getting up in the morning and going to work out, but I drag myself to do it because I know I want to change. I want better. So it starts with the mind. It starts with the individual willingly and using that willingness as a tool to actually implicate something. I'm a visionary. So if I can see something, I'm going to work my ass off to make it come into fruition. That's my advice. If you got bad credit or good credit, you don't know where you go, left or right. You've been working all your life, or, you want to get off that hamster wheel. You want to travel. You feel like our white counterparts are more fortunate than us because of their pigmentation of their skin color. That's not necessarily true. You got whites that come from trailer park environments just like ours and made it out. You got whites that have not inherited wealth and have created wealth for themselves. So there's no excuse about, a white counterpart or someone with a different skin pigmentation than us and think they're in a better position than us just because of that. We know we went through in this country with slavery. We're talking ancestor years ago. We got to get out of that. Our community have to get out of what's been done to us and come together and unify and do something where our children don't have to go through that shit. That's the message. Willing to change, putting a plan together, you visualizing it, you seeing it, and work your tail off to bring it into fruition. Make it your reality.